You're listening to a main feed episode. Go to patreon.com/Celtic Ligers where €5 a month gets you weekly full-length episodes, stray bonus content and access to the back catalogue. Also helps cover hosting and gives us money for sweeties. Thank you. Celtic Ligers.
Recorded 30th of July 2025.
You know, I have my theory. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
That in every comedic duo, apart from us, that there's one person who gets it and one person who doesn't.
Yeah.
Who in Tim and Eric duo? Who gets it and who doesn't?
I think it's the exception that proves the rule.
No, it's Tim. Tim gets it. Eric doesn't.
Why doesn't Eric get it?
He's just being freaky. But like, he's just repeating the same tropes over and over again. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Whereas Tim is the thinking man's Eric.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if you look at the stuff that
he's
Tim
like,
did.
Yeah.
Compared to that, laauuugh, Eric.
He's definitely works better with Tim. He rang in for the office hours live one time.
Yeah.
And the bit that they had was like, he like starts up, like, "Hey Eric, how's it going?" And then it's like, "All right, what about my bit?" You know? And he's like, "You know my section." And he goes, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Eric's ice cream section. I've been sitting here for hours." And he's like got all these like different tubs of ice cream, and he's trying to give reviews. This is pretty good, and then he's like eating it, but it's all like melted, so it's like dripping around. I was like, "It looks pretty melted." "Yeah, because I've been sitting here for hours, waiting for Eric's ice cream corner. We talked about this." You know, they're just getting really upset with him, and yeah.
Like, that's funny, but it's like something he would have done on Tim and Eric.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? Well, maybe even on Tim and Eric Go to the Mayor.
I never watched that.
This is their first
I never
thing.
saw their movie either. I'd love to watch their movie.
Yeah, I think Tim and Eric Will Go to the Mayor was their first thing. It was a cartoon. So you'd like it. If Tim and Eric were from Ireland, they'd be called Tom and Eric.
Tom August. Did you hear that? Did you hear that motorbike?
No.
There's a guy
I'm on the
for some
motorbike
reason
side.
who's doing laps, who's doing like circuits around where I live
Yeah.
at like top speed. Is that not mad?
It is strange.
Anyway.
I think it's just
Yeah, it
what
sounds good
Tom
now.
Goes to the Mayor.
Yeah, Tom Goes to the Mayor. And then Dustin Diamond was in it. Remember?
It premiered in 2004. How old do you think Tim Heidecker is? He died.
I actually know how old he is.
Dustin Diamond died.
Oh, Dustin Diamond, he died, yeah. I knew that as well.
How old do you think Tim Heidecker is?
Tim Heidecker is 49 years old.
Hang on. How old do you think Bob Eric Warheim is? How old do you think Eric Warheim is?
Give me a sec, sorry. He's 51.
He's 49.
Oh, okay.
What race do you think he is?
Warheim. It's anybody's guess.
Yeah. And it is, it didn't say. How old do you think Bob Odenkirk is?
62.
Whoa. Did you look that up?
No, I didn't.
Hold on. And finally, how old is Tom Sharpling?
Oh. I thought you didn't know who Tom Sharpling was.
I don't. It just...
Okay.
These are all the people listed under Tom and Eric Go to the Mayor.
55.
Let me see now. 56.
Damn, man. All right, well.
How
Tom
old's,
Sharpling's great.
how old's Paul Rudd?
I think he's 50.
I don't even know how to begin looking that up.
Just type in Paul Rudd and it'll come up in Google.
Okay. Paul.
He's 56. Fucking hell, he's looking well. Well, is he? No, he's not looking that well.
What's his name? Paul Rudd. He is 56 years young.
Well, he doesn't look like he's nearly 60, I'll say that much.
No, he looks like he's 40.
He looks like he's 34 years old, my age.
Don't
How do you think I look young?
answer that question.
Alright, fine. People said that I looked young over in the United Kingdom.
They age faster over there.
They actually do. When you go over there, you're like, what the F?
I know somebody went over and
Yeah, I did.
she's at our age, right? And I won't say her name because you're not supposed to release a lady's age. But she was working somewhere and someone was like, I'm going to set you up with my son,
Jeez, okay.
right? And her son turned out was 19.
Okay.
And my friend was like, I'm 34. What do you... And she was like, what? You're 34. I thought you were 19. So
I wonder if that happens when you get a kid and you're older. You're just kind of like, whatever. If you were born before X year, that means that you're, you know.
No, I think it just shows how badly English people age.
That's true.
They age like cream. They're good when they're young.
How old is Prince, the other one that's not Harry or Charles?
And Andrew.
No, the other one that's not him as well.
I didn't know there was another one.
There is the fucking guy, the heir apparent or whatever.
William.
How old is William? Because he looks like shit.
I'm going to say he's 44.
44, really? I was watching a movie in anticipation of our guest this week.
Yeah.
He's 43. Fucking hell.
Oh, that was a good guess.
It was a good guess. But it was called The Devil's Own. And it's about Brad Pitt. And he's from Belfast.
Great.
he plays
Well, he did
a
the traveler
terrorist.
accent well.
I have never felt that he did. I do not agree with that at all. I love when people are like, oh, that's what they sound like. It's like, actually don't sound like that. It's a very offensive depiction of what he did.
It sounds like the English one.
I don't agree.
The English ones sound crazy. Don't they?
I'm woke, so I don't agree.
You think they sound normal?
I haven't really...
Just
I only
saying.
know the one that Tom Hardy did,
If you're woke,
which was actually... Yeah.
you're actually woke. Say that English travelers
Yeah.
sound normal. You
If you
can't.
were woke, you would know the difference between, the Cantonese dialect and fucking Szechuan or whatever it is.
Szechuan.
And you'd know
Fucking-
naming sauces.
Yeah. But the sweet
and
and
you'd
sour
know the
district
difference
is-
between a British traveller and an Irish traveller.
They really do sound different.
They do sound different. I'm not joking. I know that, but I don't think that he sounded like an English traveller.
Now, I've never seen the film. So,
But I tell you, his Belfast accent was very bad.
get it up there.
But he played a terrorist. This is a spoiler because I want to talk about this. Like, the only reason I brought it up is because this
Is
guy
he
is fucking.
from-
He's come back around again. The motorcycle guy.
Which
the
side?
only-
Which
the only
side of
reason-
Belfast is he from? The Szechuan
West.
district? Or the
These are in the Szechuan province of Belfast.
or the deep fried Mars bar side? What else? I was trying to
But
think of something
he,
else to do in Chinese. The Spice Bag district.
Yeah. Spice Bag was made in Kimmage. Not Kimmage, sorry, the other one. Temple
Tala.
Oak.
There's a pub in Tala and it does Dutch Gold on tap.
But Princess Diana brought Harry and
the world.
William
Into
to
the world.
see into the world. Thank God for that. And she also brought them to see the movie that I just said, The Devil's Own, with Brad Pitt playing a sympathetic IRA terrorist. And apparently Harry was slightly too young to go see it, but she kind of was like insisted that he go in, and then she had to make a public apology for allowing them to see a movie that condoned terrorism.
Really?
Apparently.
Who do you prefer, Prince Willie or Prince Harry?
I prefer Harry. I like Harry.
Yeah.
I like Harry because one time they interviewed, like, he basically came out in an interview and said that he doesn't like talking. He doesn't like the tabloid press, obviously, but the reason he doesn't like the tabloid press is because he directly says they killed my mother. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he genuinely and I just feel like that's he's correct, but William would be like somebody who wouldn't say something that confrontational. Whereas that's what I like about Harry. If I had to choose any of them.
Willie has a goatee now.
Does he?
Yeah.
What was I looking up? Was I looking up Brad Pitt's accent? Let's save it for the episode
No,
with our
look it up
mystery
now.
guest. Our mystery guest.
Just look it up.
Oh, fine.
So you're a judge, are you?
State court.
Don't know too many judges. Socially speaking.
I have to hop off at 6 as well, so we need to wrap this up by then.
If we're not
I
done
know
by
it sounds
6,
crazy to say that, given that we're recording at 2 o'clock, but it's actually not crazy to say that.
if we're not done by 6, I'm killing myself.
I've been doing a lot of research. I've been reading this book. It's been very, very challenging. I'm still reading this fucking book that James gave me 2 years ago, One Man's Terrorist, A Political History of the IRA by Daniel Finn. My brain is, because of social media, I have not been able to read books. So what I have to do, and I've done this to make it through the pages that I have to pace around the room and read it out loud.
Okay.
Because I cannot focus. Okay?
Yeah.
It's a very good book, though. And coincidentally, Gerry Adams appeared on Novara Media this week to talk to Ash Sarkar.
Yeah. Gerry Adams, noted Irish man.
Yeah. I like, you said, because I was listening to it, some of the questions that they're saying is Ash Sarkar has clearly seen the Kneecap movie, and so has kind of been all the Brits that I've talked to have seen and enjoyed the Kneecap movie are basically now they've also watched Say Nothing and stuff like that, so they kind of have taken this on as their little hobby, so they like to kind of demonstrate their knowledge of stuff by referencing things that happened decades ago. You know, one of her questions, the way she kind of
Yeah,
I'm
what
kinda
does
jumping
she do
ahead,
be
but-
asking?
What?
What does she do be asking?
Take a sip of coffee before I answer. She
When you're ready.
she kind of was asking him
I'll be Gerry Adams. You be Ash Sarkar.
yeah. Oh, I'm trying to remember. My memory's not very good at this stuff, but what she was doing was the tone of the questions was very much glazing Gerry Adams,
Okay.
and also being the last question she asked, and the one that I do remember. Okay, she says, Actually, here's what she asked. I swear to God, this is a question. She's like, here's a spicy take. Do you see, and that's the way she phrased it. Spicy question. Do you think that the IRA is comparable to Hamas?
I'm a terrorist. I finally announced I was in the IRA.
Yeah. What do you make of that question, though?
It's a question that was sort of asked by somebody who just discovered the IRA.
I know. And then the last question she asks him is, what would he have done if he wasn't in the Republican movement? Like, would he have been like a baker or something?
What does he say? I feel like let me guess. Something like a teddy bear maker or something weird.
I know, because like, yeah, so basically what he says is, well, I have a lot of interests. I do a bit of cooking. She's like, you got a cookery book, you got a recipe book. I do have a recipe book.
What's the name of that again? It's some weird play on Republican.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I'm trying to think of like chompy our law or something like that, you know? Like he's chomping. I don't know.
Cooking our law or something.
Cooking our law. Fuck me.
Is that what it's called? But it has some weird name like that.
Yeah. But so he says, I've got a variety of interests like cooking and gardening and music. I like music. I like to sing as well. And I do enjoy a bit of a drink too. And, you know, sometimes it's hard to juggle all of these interests. Because that was the other thing about the interview is that his answers are like Grandpa Simpson answers at this point, you know?
Yeah.
She'll ask him like a question and then he'll go like, it seems like he's answering a different question, but you're like, maybe he'll get to the point of it eventually, and then he doesn't.
It's funny as well to answer that question. She's like, well, what do you do? And he goes, well, I like boozing. I suppose I'd be a boozer.
A boozer. But like, so then like he says, because one of the questions he was asked, I can't remember what it was, but he basically starts saying, because they wouldn't speak to who they thought was a terrorist, okay?
Sorry. Also, it's called the Negotiator's Cookbook.
Yeah, this is what I was like. So he goes like, they wouldn't speak to who they thought was a terrorist. They would consider that beyond the pale. And actually, it's funny because the term beyond the pale comes because the pale used to be referring to Dublin. And if you were beyond the pale, it meant you were outside of Dublin. And a lot of people would take that as a compliment. And I was just like, it was the style at the time. You know?
Thank you, Gerry. It's called the Negotiator's Cookbook. The best kept secrets of the Irish peace process.
Because like I wasn't trying to throw shade at him, because I remember saying like one time he kind of starts going on about like, oh, there's no reason for civilians to die ever, and it's a horrible tragedy that civilians die. You know, he was saying something like that, but it was the way in which he was saying it, which felt like he was targeting it directly at like centrist dads who would just be fucking piss boiling. You know,
he is 100% a troll. Like, without any...
I know.
Like, he's such a strange man. But then he's also knowingly stranger. Like, do you remember the whole thing he had with the teddy?
No.
He used to have this teddy, and I'm talking about like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And he'd just be like, I love my teddy. And then, like, he had a duck as well, I think. And he'd be like tweeting about these. And it was like him with the teddy and stuff.
Yeah.
Just like, who is that for? You know?
I know. Well, this one, like, to finish the original one, Ash Sarkar, so he says, what would you do if you weren't in, you know,
the Republican
movement? And he says, I have a lot of hobbies. And then she goes, is one of your hobbies checking for bugs in your car? Like when Martin McGuinness and you stepped out of the car with the bug in it, you know? And he was like, oh, okay. He's even confused. He's like, where did that come from? Sort of like, and he's like, well, to go on a digression. And then he goes off and tells the story to finish off. But it's like
a literal bug or like a spy bug?
a bug that was planted by the British state. But it was like, she was like with Martin McGuinness. I was like, Martin McGuinness has been dead for over 10 years, I think, at this stage. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's such a weird one to bring up, as in, like, you've just asked him, what would he do if he wasn't in the Republican movement? And he says, I have a lot of hobbies. And then you asked, would one of your hobbies be looking for bugs, which is something that happened 20 years ago or whatever, you know? Like, what a bizarre, like, I'm just using that as an example of like the Brits being like, hey, remember that thing that I read about recently? And I'm now just become, you know, aware of what the fuck is going on over Northern Ireland. I mean, this is something we've like accused, or I have, of Novara media of not giving a fuck about the North.
Yeah.
And now it seems that the Kneecap movie gives them permission to talk about these things, you know?
Yeah.
It's, the Brits' latest thing is giving a shit about, well, not giving a shit about the North, just like, you know.
I'm trying to find a good tweet by him about the teddy bear. So he called it Ted, and it was this teddy bear that he had. And this one is, Ted says, sometimes it's hard to be a bear. I know what he means. Like, I don't know what that means. Or like,
I don't know, man.
Here's another one here that's like, last night I dreamt about wee yellow ducks. Woke up to this, and it's this. It's like a load of ducks.
It's just a bunch of rubber ducks. What are you talking about? And that's like a stock image. It doesn't even look like one he took.
It's like, what do you mean you dreamt about them and you woke up? Like, it's just, I'm trying to find more. He was really big on this, and this was like 2010. So like Martin McGuinness was running for the presidency at this time. I know, it was a bit later. Dreamt I was eating cream eggs. Woke up this morning, pillow and beard covered in chocolate and cream.
I don't know, man.
Where are you going to, my lovely? When you're alone in your bed, what's the thoughts that surround you? What's going on inside your head?
Well, in this interview, Ash Sarkar asks him a question, and then he gives an answer that I don't know whether it addressed the actual question. We'll never know. But at one point he goes like, I thought about what I wanted from a united Ireland. I had this in my head and I articulated it back in 1976, okay? And then he's like, and then he says this, all right? No, this is the troll part. Okay, you're not listening.
I just have to read this one, and I will listen.
Oh my God.
Just had a flashback to the one-legged dog. Saw a two-legged cat walking tall on Pierce Street on its hind legs.
I don't get it.
He saw a one-legged dog, and then he saw a two-legged cat.
I thought you were saying that he had a dream about a one-legged dog, and then he saw a two-legged cat.
No, I think he's saying, I think he's referencing an older tweet. And here's an Irish Times article. I swear to God, I'll stop now.
No, this is not. No. I'm finishing my story. You're not reading another thing.
Gerry Adams tells the doll his teddy bears are virgins. All right. That's good.
Yeah. So he's being interviewed by Ash Sarkar, and then he basically says, I articulated a vision of what a united Ireland would look like back in 1976, okay?
Yeah.
What did I say?
He said he's talking to Ash Sarkar, and then he took a position in 1976.
Okay. And then he says, in the intervening years, and then says to Ash Sarkar, he asks her, when was the Good Friday Agreement again?
Yeah.
What year was it?
You asking me, or he was asking her?
No, Ash Sarkar asked Ash Sarkar. This is why you need to pay attention. Because otherwise it's not going to work.
I thought he was trying to catch her out or something. You told her bad. You told her badly.
I did not tell it badly. You weren't paying attention.
What did she say? Who gives a fuck?
She said 1998. He's like, right, yeah. And then he continues on with the story.
Yeah, and like with him, he could have genuinely forgotten, or it could be a joke. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm talking about. Like, because he is like a troll. You know what I mean? Like he is.
Yeah.
Whatever you think about,
I just
like,
read out some examples of that.
yeah. Sorry, it's too hot in this apartment. I shouldn't be snapping.
An old troll.
An old trollop, says you.
What else is he saying? So as a start, is she like,
I don't know.
which one are you, Martin McGuinness or the other one? And he's like, the other one. Whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And then she goes, you're from Northern Ireland?
Mm.
You just don't know with him. Like, she could be like, you're from the north of Ireland. And he'd be like, no, I'm from Northern Ireland.
Mm.
It's a different state.
Yeah. Exactly.
I found out he used to smoke a pipe.
Really?
Which he smoked it in the 80s.
Mm.
I was talking to my mum about this. I was like, what did that mean?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you might think, oh, he just smoked a pipe. But no one smoked it. Like, the only person who smoked a pipe in the 80s was Tony Benn. You know? It's like, why?
Yeah.
Why? I think that was like some weird 80s form of trolling. Where he's like, I'm going to smoke a pipe like an old Fermanagh farmer. Just to be weird.
Mm.
You know? Did you ever read that thing that back in the 80s he was called Gucci Adams?
Yeah. But what was that over again?
He dressed so well. It's Gucci Adams and Prada McGuinness. And it's because they got American PR training. And as part of it, it was like, you gotta dress well. So they like started dressing really well. It's hard to tell now because all the clothes are so weird looking.
Yeah.
So did you ever watch Saved by the Bell? And it's sort of hard to tell who the nerds are and who the cool ones are. That's sort of the same thing with what else did they talk about in the interview? How long is it? Half an hour?
It's all very generic. It's not very...
I was wondering if he was going to run for the presidency because he's been doing a bit of a media thing. Because I assumed he was going on the Novara media thing because he won that lawsuit against the British government with regards to he's getting compensated for being interned in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like they talked about that.
I think it kind of gets brought up, but it's almost like they only have the broad strokes.
Yeah.
So they don't... She's not going to get into it, and then he's too cagey to get into it.
So
it just becomes very generic.
He's got all of that. There's that documentary coming out about him soon. Maybe it's already out. I feel like he's just been in... I know there's only two things, but I just feel like he's been a bit more prominent than he has. The thing with Mary Lou running for the presidency is so bizarre.
Yeah. Do you think she will?
No. It'd be so weird if she did. It'd be the end of her political career.
Yeah.
Think about it, like, she's pretty secure in the leadership. There's no... Within the part, like, shouldn't be no leak anyway, but it just seems like she's secure enough where she is. And if she ran for president, she'd have to leave the leadership. And then she'd lose. And then she's not getting the leadership back. So what? She just has to retire. She's only... How old is she? It's like Paul Rudd's age.
She's... Let me look up. Mary Lou MacDonald. She's 56.
How old's Paul Rudd again?
That is Paul Rudd's age, isn't it?
I think it is.
Paul Rudd is 56. They're both 56.
Whoa.
Mary Lou next to Paul Rudd. That'd be an interesting pairing.
Yeah. Imagine the
Remember
size
Daniel
of the
McConnell
house.
was getting all. Remember Daniel McConnell was getting all horny for Mary Lou?
Yeah, that was so.
Remember that
messed
article
up.
years ago?
And he-
What's his deal now? He's like the current editor of some major newspaper. I think it's the Business Post, isn't it?
Yeah, he like referenced that it was infamous, the one where Christopher Hitchens was writing about would you mind if I took a phone call?
No, not at all. Go for
One
it.
sec.
What's in the news? What's happening? What are people... Oh, actually, we got a lot of correspondence this week. Should we mention some of that?
Yeah, let's read out our eager listeners.
I'm on Twitter. We got some stuff as well.
Okay, let's read it all
Do you
out.
want to know?
I'll read out
Alright,
the
cool.
Patreon ones and you read out the Twitter.
I'm busy.
You're busy, he says.
No, I'm talking to Zainab. What? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, actually, that's important. Thank you, Zainab. She was reminded me that the Karen Diner has closed down.
Oh,
But the thing about it is that's relevant to the stuff that we talk about in Celtic Ligers is in proper small business fashion. They're like, that's because of VAT. We're on our knees.
oh yeah. I've tried
And
to go
it's
there
just like-
twice.
You went there, yeah. I know you went. I didn't know you went there twice. I didn't remember that.
Yeah, and both times they told me to get lost. I tried to find Mark
Yeah.
Maloney.
Yeah.
And like, you turn up and they're just like, what are you looking at? And you're like, I want to see. And they're like, it'll be half an hour. And the place is
Yeah.
like completely empty. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, ha. And they're like, get out.
Yeah.
And then they make you stand outside for like 20 minutes. And then I just left. Both times.
yeah.
So I feel like you
I
can't blame the
think-
VAT for everything.
I don't know. I think if the VAT, if it was, well, I don't know what they want. Is it to be lower or higher? I don't care. But like, we have to listen to our stakeholders,
Precious.
our small business leaders who create the jobs in this country. Okay. And it just says something if you can't have an experience like that.
Yeah.
Like something like that can't survive in Dublin. There's clearly like a lot of problems.
Yeah. It really transmutes the experience of talking to a small business owner, to the small
Yeah.
business experience, you know? Who was I talking to? I was saying there's some type of guy who's the worst combination of things.
Interesting.
Barbers.
Barbers, right.
Because barbers are the same phenotype as taxi drivers,
Hmm.
but they're also small business owners.
Yeah.
So like the two worst sorts of people are just combined, and they have like a blade to your neck. It's like so you just gotta sit there and listen to their like
Yeah.
insane opinions on a wide variety of things, you know.
Well, I don't know what hairdressers you go to. Mostly my ones either don't talk to me or are just sort of like young ones who are nervous.
Yeah, and you say most young ones who are around you are nervous, and you don't know why. So on to the correspondence.
Yeah. That's some news out of the way. So now time for some correspondence. Actually, there's another bit of news we forgot to mention last week that was breaking at the time.
What?
Eoin Hayes back in the Sock Dames.
Oh yeah. I wasn't too surprised by that. I figured he was going to get back in at some point.
I'm tempted to hand in my membership.
To
The Social Democrats.
not to Palantir.
I have Gary Cannon. What's he doing? He's doing something. He announced that he was doing something that was actually really cool, and then the next day, they were like, it was in regards to. Let me find it here. It's hot, folks. It's hot. Yeah. So he's bringing the central bank to court over their facilitation of the sale of Israeli war bonds. And then the next day they're like, Eoin Hayes is back in the party. You're like, I've seen a bunch of resignations from the Soc Dems of people just packing it in, being like, fuck this. Like, because they had that Israeli candidate who they eventually had to get rid of because they couldn't reconcile her Zionism with the party, even though you really should have known that before you selected them as a candidate. And then Eoin Hayes lying about getting rid of his shares, and then I think he like sold them off and he made like 150k or some like obscene amount of money, which he now,
I think,
but now he says he's donating to like a Palestinian charity as like, oh, I'm sorry that I lied. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, obviously it would have been bad. Him working for Palantir and Peter Thiel was already bad, so that's irrelevant, you know? Whether I had shares, but I had no idea. I had them before these guys were evil. It's like, no, you didn't, because the whole raison d'etre is evil.
What was it? He said he sold them in June, but he really sold them in July after he got elected.
Yeah. And then now he's like, well, here's the money. And then I swear to God, like the focus from like people like Gav Riley and our media class is like, they'll announce that. They'll be like, oh yeah, he sold the shares, now he's giving the money to charity. And then they go, by the way, those shares are now valued at X amount. So that means he could have gotten 100 million. And you're kind of like, what relevance is that? Show your fucking mouth. You don't know. I just find they're so like, I hate anybody who can look at what's happening in Palestine and just be like, you know, funny story. You know what I mean? Or just like ambivalent, indifferent, just like, we'll see how this plays out in the locals next time. Or there's a by-election coming up and let's see. You're like, shut the fuck up. Shut your fucking mouth. Yeah. And anyway, all the resignations from the party, you're looking at it and you're thinking like, it seems like a very short-term gain, doesn't it? Like, because I think that their thing is that they need this amount of TDs and then they get like they get some amount of money or something. Funding. Is that it? There's something about funding, but there's also about like speaking rights, because if they're like one seat away from having slightly more speaking, I'm not even going to go into the machinations of it, although I am sort of, I guess. I'm tired. I'm hot. The apartment's hot. Okay, I'm getting cooked in here, and I'm not by James's witty retorts.
Why don't you open a window?
They're open.
One behind you is closed.
Yeah, well, all the ones in front of me are open.
Get a cross breeze going.
That's true. All right, I might do that in a minute. But Eoin Hayes is a little fucking weasel.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys who was in tech and he was boasting about being in tech. And at a time in Ireland, it was like anything that tech does is great because we love tech. And then people still do. But there's an acknowledgement that actually these people are not geniuses. They are actually quite stupid and venal, you know?
Yeah.
Now the acknowledgement is that they're terrible, but we need them because our entire economy is reliant on them.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's not the way Eoin Hayes was doing it. A few years ago, he was going, yeah, I went over there in San Fran. He's got his fucking like, you know, top button undone on his shirt and he's standing there with his arms folded and a big stupid goofy Irish grin on him, you know? And he just looks like a little worm. And now that's a prime candidate for the Social Democrats. They're like, yes, absolutely. Those are our guys. Let's run this piece of shit. And then he's like a piece of shit. And then they go, oh, we really wish, oh, you shouldn't have lied. And now he's like, I guess he's done his time and he's back in. But the thing is, like, you have these people. What's that going to do to your base? As in the type of people who were motivated to go out and canvass for you for the next election, you know?
Yeah.
like you might get a little bit more time speaking, or whatever benefits you might have gotten from Eoin Hayes, I think are going to be completely undone by the fact that you have to go out and face people, and then you're not principled. You're not strong enough. You don't have the mettle for any of this.
No.
Anyway. Do you think it'll matter? Do you think that their base will actually even care? They'll be able to, like, you know,
No.
oh no, actually, but they did it for this
Ultimately,
reason, so
I
it's
think
fine.
the 8 months thing will have convinced a lot of people, you know. It might hurt Eoin Hayes personally, but I don't think it's going to hurt the party.
Yeah. Which says a lot about the Sock Dems. I fucking hate the Sock Dems.
I don't mind them.
Apparently, there was some lady, Alyssa Donovan, I think her name was, who I think she used to be in the Greens, and then she was a councillor in Limerick for the Greens. See if I have this right. But either way, she was in like a group chat. She wasn't in a group chat. They started a group chat and they were like saying a load of sexist shit about her, the Greens.
Yeah.
So then she like left the party and then joined the Sock Dems and then left the Sock Dems, if I have that right.
He does not. She was in the Sock Dems, then left the Sock Dems in 2020, then rejoined the Sock Dems in 2021, where she has remained.
But anyway, she put out on Twitter that this felt like something that is it Cian O'Callaghan who's the current head of the...
Yeah, he's
No.
like the deputy.
It is?
I think so.
Yeah, isn't that... It's so funny. Sorry, this keeps coming up all the time, but that thing from 30 Rock where it's like, we have a fourth cast member, it's Josh. It's like, right, I forgot about that guy. Do you think that's a good sign? You know, just like going,
Yeah.
is Cian O'Callaghan his name? I can't remember. All I know is that he did really badly on all of the leaders' debates.
I know.
But,
they would have done so much better if it was Holly Cairns.
Yeah. But she says that this seems like something that Holly Cairns wouldn't have done. That it's something that Cian O'Callaghan did,
Yeah.
which is kind of a very good faith reading of it. That
Holly Cairns inspires a bit of good faith in me, you know?
yeah, right.
Like, I don't think she's some revolutionary, but I do think she's very earnest. I do think
Yeah.
she... Like, when you see her talk about the mother and baby home, it seems like she does care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now she is a mother and baby. In her home.
Hey, on her home.
In her home of homes.
Wait, I'm just saying a couple. Mr. Ledden, the chair of the Oireachtas Environment and Climate Action Committee, said last weekend he did not encourage those comments or engage with them, but on reflection should have intervened to voice his unhappiness with the language used. The Limerick City TD appeared before the Executive Committee of the Green Party on Monday night to discuss what had happened. Basically, it was a WhatsApp group where they were just dragging her and calling her every name under the bloody sun, and Brian Ledden was like liking a few of the comments and not intervening.
That's so much worse than being
Yeah.
openly hostile. It's just someone
Yeah.
like... It's like the Richard Hammond approach, you know?
Yeah.
Good one.
I'm just gonna film it on my camera phone.
I'm gonna say something about Tim and Eric.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I like how on cinema,
Mm.
you know, what's your Greg Turkington,
Yeah.
and then someone be like, and it's also stars Willem Dafoe, and then he goes in,
Yeah.
and then it's like, Pretty Little Things. He's like, let's talk a lot of films, and Nosferatu 2024. You know,
Yeah.
he just has an ability to pull up the like least relevant.
Yeah.
You know, or when he goes like, I love this film, There's a runtime of 206 minutes, which I think is good.
Yeah.
He has very good ability to put up the least interesting aspects of the film. And that was his favorite, you know?
Yeah. I liked because he does sound like either James Roll for any of these YouTube reviewers, where it's like, well, I liked it because it was fun to see Godzilla on screen, and he's fighting Mothra. Some bits of it didn't really make sense to me, like how Godzilla was able to get here, but he wasn't able to get here. But that could just been a decision the filmmakers made, and I'm not sure.
Or I love when he goes, "These are Oscar's favorite films." He seems to think Oscar's
Yeah.
It's also a very small thing he does, and I don't know if this is real or not, but he's this really nice thing where when he's turning, he doesn't turn his neck, he turns his whole body.
His whole body, yeah.
It's such a laborious movement, you know?
Yeah.
And then the last thing I love about him is that he it's such a good play. Is that Tim Heidecker over the course of the 10 years has had so many personas, you know?
And
then Greg Turkington is exactly the same. So you see Tim Heidecker and his I think his most recent one is based on that guy is trying to live forever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that guy. What's his fucking name again? Brian something, isn't it?
Brian Johnson?
I think that sounds right, yeah.
And he's so moist and thin. And then Greg Turkington's just there in his Joker t-shirt, you know?
I love how quickly he's able to observe people, because the way he does Bill Maher is so fucking funny to me. Where so Bill Maher has this show. Oh my god! By the way, I would obviously see that. So Bill Maher, I mean,
Club Random.
I've brought him up. We brought him up before, but I don't know if I ever explained him. He was a talk show host over in America, who's kind of this smug, smarmy political guy, and then he's made a documentary called Religulous, where he talked about how ridiculous it is. Organized religion sucks. Now he is, except when it comes to God promising this Israel to the Jews. That part actually,
that's normal. That's
legit. And the Arabs and Muslims are subhuman scum who there's no living in peace next to them because they just keep fucking attacking you. Trying to get back land that I don't know why they think it's theirs. We've been here for 70 years.
I do like when his Bill, not Bill, the other Bill. The one who's
Bill Burr.
Yeah. Bill Burr's talking, and then Bill Maher is like, "This is why politics is my thing."
Yeah.
And Bill Burr's like, "It's not your thing.
You don't have a thing." He's so good at that. But yeah, Bill Maher has literally been kind of basically saying, I haven't checked in on him recently, but anyway, he had a show on HBO, and that's kind of him being wearing a suit and being sort of smug and interviewing people and getting on the left and the right to hash things out.
This guy's also 70 years old, by the way.
Yeah.
It's when it gets lost, but he's 70 and he's still things smoking a cigar is slick, you know?
I know.
He's 70 and he's still pretending to smoke cigars. You know what I mean?
There was this porn star called Tiana Trump, I think her name was, okay? And she was being interviewed on some podcast, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I fucked Bill Maher." And she was like, "Yeah," and she was like, he basically was calling and send somebody over to my house so I can have sex with them, you know? And then she's like, "I showed up, and then he was like, he didn't seem very happy with me." And then the host goes, "Because you weren't black enough?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Really?
Yeah, he basically just gets black sex workers, and she showed up and she was too light skinned for him, but he didn't say as much, but he was kind of apparently not happy with the money that he had spent.
Whoa.
But she then also admitted, I don't know whether this is relevant, she's like, he does have a fucking massive prick, apparently. He's got a big ass hog.
Really?
Which is very disappointing to hear.
Yeah.
But he was on a Club Random. He has this podcast called Club Random where he's in his basement and he's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and he'll be drinking like, liquor and stuff. And then Steve-O is like sober for like however many years. And he was like, I'll come on your show, but I'd appreciate it if you just didn't drink alcohol while I was there to kind of, because I'm sober and I don't want to be around that stuff, And then Bill Maher was like, no, so that the interview didn't happen at all. So Bill Maher had like, he has his reputation because of the HBO show. And then these people seem to show up to his house then, and they're on this weird set that looks like so cheap and everything about it is like uncomfortable. And Bill Maher is like a worse interviewer than he normally is. And everybody on the show is visibly uncomfortable and it's incredibly funny.
Why? Who's on it?
Oh, like they had like huge guests. Let me look it up.
So you're talking about Club Random here?
I am, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking. I thought you were saying they did a separate thing again. Yeah, no, I've seen a good few clips of Club Random. Like the vibe is always like Bill Maher has me in his basement, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the vibe is like Bill Maher locked the door when they were walking down the stairs. Yeah. Just so we're not interrupted.
Tim Heidecker has like the perfect impression of just pitch perfect of like, so he sets up the exact same looking studio and then he has on Fred Armisen, okay? And he'll be like, like what you were doing with Portlandia. I mean, it was so fucking funny, man. It was so fucking funny. And the way that you like stuck it to them, like those types, like you couldn't make that nowadays. And then he was like, well, I wouldn't say I was sticking it to them. It was just kind of like, fuck off, man. You telling me you weren't fucking sticking it to them? It was fucking funny, man. He's just like Fred Armisen there, like, I wasn't trying to be. This is Tim Heidecker impersonating Bill Maher. He's just so good at like that thing where it's like, what you do is you interview somebody, and he explained how he developed this impression, and he's like, what you have to do is you have to be looking around and like making a drink at the same time that you're interviewing somebody. And then you don't allow them a chance to finish, and you just take this unnecessarily combative approach to everything that they say, even when it's positive, and just ignore them as well as the other thing, like ignore what they say and just insist upon your own point of view. And it's like, damn it, man,
Yeah. The weirdest one is the one with Haley Welsh, the Sucker Tua one. And then he's like,
no, it's a Hawk Tua.
And then, he like, I don't know why out of anyone he's decided he sees himself in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's just like, you've made it, but you have to be very careful about your next step, or you'll end up back in your horrible life. And she's like, I liked my life. I had friends. And then he's like, you didn't. Like, he just like, he's just in a complete reverie where he's like,
you have to. I'm trying to find it because he had Billy Joel on during last week, and people are pointing to this clip of how like deeply uncomfortable because he's basically like, oh, you're like a songwriter, you're great or whatever. And then Billy Joel's like, yeah, thank you. And then he's like cutting across him. I wrote a song. I wrote a song inspired by you. And then Billy Joel just having to sit there on, oh yeah? I'm trying to find it. It's so fucking funny because like this, he says what the song is. You have no idea. Like,
that is such a type. We used to get people like that in the Joy Centre, and they'd be talking at you, and then you could see something twig, or something would twig, and you'd be like, "This is gonna be one of the guys who has a song."
Yeah.
And it was a type, and they would come in, and they'd be like Bill Maher, just having a conversation at you, and then inevitably they'd be gone. And I wrote a song about James Joyce. And you go, oh really? And like 10% of the time they would sing it for you. And then there was one time a guy came in and he was like, I wrote a song about Sean O'Casey. Like, we're in the wrong sentence.
and they still sang it.
He still sang it. And it was about like, it was like something Kojima would have written. It was like Sean O'Casey's ghost coming back to have sex with some completely unrelated woman.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
alright.
like. Yeah.
That one's very visceral to me because we had this bed that we'd have to put out on Bloomsday. And the year I started, it was like 30 degrees. And I was like pumping sweat, taking apart this bed. And the guy was just like, and I wrote a song. And I was like, let me sing it for you. And I was just like, I was unassembling this bed and like pumping sweat. And I was after a really long day.
Yeah.
I was just like, where am I working?
Yeah. It must attract some amount of freaks.
Yeah, it really did. I told you about the guy who, he came in once. He was like, I want to say his first name. Well, who cares? He's like, well, I'm one of the Fays. I was like, oh, have you heard of us? We're the Dublin Fays. Our family invented the battering ram. And I was like, oh, right. And then, like, he was always coming in and he dressed like a hitman. I think I showed you a picture of one. And then one time he came in, he had this homeless guy with him. And he was like, the family of Faye and Gregory reunited. This is the great grandson of Lady Gregory. I told you this, haven't I? And he was like,
No, you haven't actually.
all right. And the guy was like clearly homeless, hasn't said a word this whole time.
Yeah.
And your man is just like, or this is her great grandnephew. Our families have finally been reunited. I've tracked him down. Like him. The guy's just standing right next. It's like him. And then he's like, he's homeless. He used to be a footballer, but then he spent all his money on drink. And that's why he grew the beard, you see, to hide his shame. And your man is like, I can't stress enough. Your man is like, right there. He can hear him, you know, and your man is just like him. Anyway, I'm going to show him around this building. And I just showed him around. And then the guy's just like, all right, see ya. Where's he's leaving? But then I was talking to someone who worked in the Abbey. Apparently later that day, I was in like half an hour later, he brought him into the Abbey. It was like, get the exact same spiel.
How do you get like that life? Do you know what I mean? Like just wandering around, being able to go on little adventures.
I don't know. Because I was like, is he some aristocracy guy? Then it turned out his dad had like a machine, like a machinery business. So he's not like, you know, if you have that sort of business, you're going to be wealthy, but not like so wealthy my son never has to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy really freaked me out.
I just because you mentioned Sean O'Casey. Sean Casey?
Sean O'Casey. Protestant, by the way.
There was I started to watch the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles because there's an episode where they go to the 1916 Rising.
Oh yeah.
But it was very boring, so I stopped watching it. And also, I'm not sure what the point of it was because there was a lot of like historical inaccuracies in it.
Yeah.
But then also an equal part some interesting cameos from Irish celebrities. So there was like a small subplot where Indiana Jones meets Sean O'Casey, and Sean O'Casey is talking about how amazing the Abbey is and how he's going to go pitch a play to William Butler Yeats, and he does. And you get to see Yeats as well. Okay.
Yeah. Very
Is that
strange.
correct? I know. And Yeats basically tells him that the play is based too much on like life, contemporary life, and that people don't want to see that in theatre. They want to see fantasy and the past and all this sort of stuff.
Right.
And then O'Casey leaves and he's like fucking William Butler Yeats, and he's like raging about him. He's like, that guy wouldn't know anything about a fucking good play. And then The Rising happens, and they filmed it in Dublin. So you see the actual GPO and like explosions going off outside of it, which is like astonishing.
Yeah.
There's some footage for the GPO, and then there's other footage for like cut away to show some laneway, and then a controlled explosion happens there. But they are using the GPO. It's interesting to see the real life location be used. And then the other thing that happens is the Rising. It kind of like has a pretty good depiction of the Rising insofar as everybody is against it, like, and then everybody turns around on it after the executions. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know whether maybe that's just history. Maybe the Americans couldn't be like, no, it was a noble battle that everybody was behind at the time. They're like, no, everybody was indifferent to it, and then they were angry about it, and then they warmed to it. Was the way that they. But Indy then leaves to go and join the Belgian like the army. He's going to fight in World War I. And Sean O'Casey meets him at the docks and basically says, like, you know, like, you're still fighting for a master, something like that. He's like, unless we crush the capitalist system or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't say capitalism, but he's basically like, you know, you're fighting rich men's wars, regardless of where you go, even if you're not fighting for the Brits.
It's a boss's war you're fighting. You're going to be killed in the name of capitalist gain.
We'll try not to.
The hell with you. Good luck.
Sean O'Casey is such a weird pull for that.
I know.
Like, I don't think Sean O'Casey is that popular outside of Ireland. I could be wrong, but
I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, I think the remit of the show, I think they made it with PBS. Might be a different channel, but George Lucas essentially wanted to be an educational show, so it's more of a history show than you'd think. But at the same time, it's a very boring show. But there was an episode that I was eager to watch where they go to Palestine in 1960, and it turned out to not be very interesting, unfortunately. Anyway, here's this clip of Billy Joel having to listen to Bill Maher. Do you have that open in front of you?
I'll get it open now. Click.
I even had a good premise and a title. It was called The World Makes Us Lie.
Okay, that's a good premise.
It is, because it was about someone in a relationship with someone who the world deemed age inappropriate. I don't know where I got the idea. But, and that could be more universal than that. The world does make us lie about things. And
I agree.
That was it. Just like, yeah, I agree.
I was hoping you could see the song.
You get to hear the song about an age inappropriate relationship that the world doesn't agree with.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a glass of water.
All right, cool.
And then we'll read the correspondence.
Oh yeah, we should. Is there other news to happen as well? What's the news? Well, are you there? You're still there? No. He's gone. He's gone.
That's the end of the free bit. Go to patreon.com/CelticLigers for the rest where the Ligers read listener correspondence. They talk about Danny Healy Rae being shoved by our noble boys in blue for simply having a laugh. Starmer threatens to recognize Palestine as a state. And tariffs. The EU completely prostrates itself in front of a dang cheeto.